What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Transparent Table Talk. I am your host, Bougiewild. You know, Transparent Table Talk is a place where we speak from a humble, transparent, and a vulnerable place. Our whole mission is to share life experiences to show you that we all go through the same thing. So tonight we got a special episode, you guys. Y'all know I be sharing my life, so I can't be having people coming on my show sharing their stories without me sprinkling a little bit of mine. You know, I am that person that shares. So tonight we got Eric Crump on the show. Eric is Yolanda's ex-husband, 12 years of marriage. He is the father of her second set of children, Harmony and Eric Jr. After a nasty divorce, Eric and Yolanda went through a bitter, angry, blaming spell that was filled with chaos and discord. Time and family brought them back together, in which Eric and Yolanda realized the importance of forgiveness. Eric and Yolanda was able to beat the odds of social norm and become friends to form a blended family as an example to show our children that healthy relationships matter and exist. Without further ado, y'all, we gonna bring my ex-husband on Transparent Table Talk. Welcome, Eric.
Well, first of all, I thank you, Bougiewild, for allowing me to have this opportunity to be a part of this podcast, this table talk, this everything. So I thank you, and I want to commend you on the great job that you're doing, first of all. So thank you so much. And I want to thank viewers who are taking interest at this particular moment. Thank you all.
Okay, you guys. So tonight's episode is rebuilding after a nasty divorce. And you all know I share things to encourage people, to let people know that, you know what, we go through things, but we don't have to remain bitter. What we can do is become better and allow life experiences to where we can learn from life experiences. And I'm sure a lot of you all seen our first live where Eric and I talked about a lot of things that we went through. But we're here now to share, from going through a nasty, bitter divorce. The average couple who went through the things that Eric and I went through wouldn't be sitting here today or even this past weekend having dinner with our family. So we're gonna sit here tonight and talk about, the things we went through mentally, in which we had a bitter, nasty divorce. So, Eric, what was that thing that caused you, would you say, to be bitter? Because that's what we want to show the viewers tonight, that we did go through some chaos, you guys, some chaos, but how we move forward. So we're gonna start with the beginning and briefly cover, our nasty divorce, because it was nasty. It was ugly. It was ugly. What would you say about that, Eric?
Wow, it was so much. And I'm just honored to be hey, where we are at this particular point in our lives. Losing my wife, not being able to see my children every day, not being able to kiss them, put them to bed, cook dinner for them, just moments in time with my family. That was the most hurting part for me. Just being displaced from our home. So to
So
start
would you
off,
say that made you, because you and I, we our divorce was ugly, y'all. We separated in 2017. We didn't get a divorce until 2019. Just to give you all some background information, I told Eric one day I wanted a divorce, and we had agreed that we were going to split everything 50-50. We were going to split the kids. We were going to split the house. We were going to split everything 50-50. Eric and I went to an attorney. They drawed up the paperwork. We both signed the paperwork and we walked out like it's over. A couple of weeks later, I was served. I was served with paperwork that Eric was contesting the divorce and he was suing me sole custody of the children. So at that point, you guys, it started a war because I was like, I just want a divorce. I don't want to fight. You hear me? Like, I'm willing to give you half custody. I'm willing to give you half of the proceeds of the house. So, Eric, will you explain to the viewers, why did you sit down at the table and we agreed to get a divorce and then you went file for a contested divorce to get sole custody of the children?
Because I didn't want it. I didn't want it. I never wanted to. I'd never leave my family. I didn't want it. I didn't want it. And I was like, hey, this is what I want. I'm like, no. You're not doing this, Bougiewild. You're not doing this. No. So I didn't want it. I really didn't want it.
So when you were saying you didn't want a divorce, explain how filing a contested divorce and asking for sole custody of the kids was going to save the marriage. I'm just trying to understand.
It was total craziness. It was no method to my madness. It was just me being just crazy. And what do you call the word? What's the word we always use? Just coming back. What do you call it? Contradicted. You know what I'm trying to say. You know the word I'm trying to.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
No, when you come back at somebody, I always say it all the time. You know the word I'm trying to say.
Retaliate.
Yeah. Just retaliating. It was retaliating. It wasn't really how I really felt. It was just me doing something out of spite. Retaliating out of spite.
So when Eric filed for sole custody of the kids, y'all, we went through this ugly divorce to where we ended up in court. And he didn't even come to court.
No, I sure didn't. I didn't even show up to court. Nope.
He filed for a contested divorce. Took us 2 years to get a divorce. In which y'all know couples that during the 2 years we were creeping, we were sleeping, we would be back together, we wouldn't be back together. But I'm just gonna keep it real. I told him, I was like, I want a divorce. I don't want to be your wife no more. Not to necessarily say that I won't sleep with you no more, but I didn't want to be his wife no more. Actually, that night we got a divorce, I think we slept together, didn't we?
We slept together like the next couple of days. We sure did. Yeah, we did. That's crazy. I know. Yeah. And we cried. You know what? And we cried. She cried and I cried. And I was like, this is totally crazy.
Yeah. So we got a divorce. And to be honest, I continued to deal with Eric until what? 2021? 2020? Was it 20? I know it's been a while.
I don't know. What are you talking about? Deal with me. So what are you talking about? Deal with me. What do you mean deal with me?
Sleeping with you. I'm keeping it real. I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm keeping it real.
No, I don't think we've actually slept together since we went to Miami. That's about 21. It was 21, I think.
So during that time, we went on this feuding thing because the reality is I was bitter. I left him not because I didn't love him anymore. I left him because he kept doing things to hurt me, in which I realized that he was only doing what I was allowing him to do. He was not, he was doing things that he was accustomed to doing. And that's what I just want to speak to women about, is that a lot of times in relationships, guys are going to do what you allow them to do. Even though we may fuss, we may cuss, we may act a fool, but the reality is until you put a stop to it, it's going to continue. And like I said, even after the divorce, I was still going through chaos. I was still going through conflict because the reality is I didn't want to be a single woman, But I just got tired of the chaos and discord, so I walked away. And that's what this show tonight is about, just talking about the bitterness, because I was angry. I was angry. I was hurt. I was frustrated the fact that I had to now do everything on my own. So I went through a lot of anger, in which what I stopped talking to you for what, almost a year this past year.
Yeah, almost, yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And ladies, I'm being very transparent. I stopped talking to him because I was still attached to the intimacy. I was still attached to the intimacy, in which I did research, and it shows that I had to detach myself from him. I had to detach myself from him. I had to stop being intimate with him. Um, and I had to accept that, you know what, Yolanda, you're now single. And so I had to take time to work on me. I had to take time to um figure me out, in which he felt like, oh, Yolanda, you're still bad at me. Tell me, how did that make you feel, Eric? Like when I stopped talking, when you thought I was mad at you, when I was telling you I'm just healing from this.
Oh, I felt like I say, I didn't understand that you had to heal, and it's really wonderful to get at this point because I knew, that you had to at some particular point forgive me, and I feel like you have forgiven me at this particular point, and our friendship is actually really different at this point. It's almost back to like when we met each other in what 20 what almost 20 years ago. My baby's 18, so almost 20 years ago. So yeah, yeah, you were mad. You were pretty mad at me. You were pretty mad at me. You were pretty mad at me.
And the reality is, I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at myself for allowing myself to go through the things and staying with somebody for so long to end up as a divorced woman. So, looking back now, I talk from a humble, transparent, and vulnerable place. I actually was mad at myself because I did feel like I gave him a lot of my good years, a lot of my young years. And then there, as women, we stay with our guys because we do want to allow them time to grow up, because it's, nature shows that a woman mature faster than a man. And then I had been out on my own longer than Eric, and so I was much more mature than he was, and so I was trying to allow him time to mature. So I was going through a lot of chaos, a lot of discord, a lot of hurt, a lot of betrayal. And I felt like after going through all of that, I went through it for nothing, because I'm just gonna be honest, he didn't grow. Like, I didn't see any growth in him. Um, I was bitter because, like, when I left this man, instead of him, I thought he was gonna come begging us back. And when I first left him, I packed a few clothes and took the kids, thinking he was gonna come begging me back. And Yolanda, what I need to do? The man burnt up all my clothes. You hear me? Burnt up my whole closet of clothes. Like, I guess that's the reason why I give away clothes. Like the other day, I put on social media that I'm cleaning out my closet, because after that, I just never took the love for clothes like I used to. Like, it just ripped me from being in love with anything material, because I realized he knew how I love my clothes, and that was a way for him to hurt me. And I'm not sharing this to rehash anything. I'm just showing how we can go through things and how we have to get to that point of forgiveness and not be bitter, you know. Um, and realizing and studying people and learning, I realized a lot of stuff he did was because of his conditioning, and a lot of people are suffering, a lot of families are suffering because of the conditioning of individuals, and we don't know how to detach ourselves from how we were conditioned, and then it causes us to suffer and lose our families. So Eric, I know we touched a little bit on this previously on our initial show in which we did the live, but would you like to add anything as far as the conditionings? We're not trying to put anybody on blast. We want to keep things neutral when you speak, to make sure we don't offend anyone.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, I mean, just kind of piggybacking on what you said. Hey, I mean, it's totally true. Yeah, I got so mad. I was in so much anger, and I was in so much pain. I did. I burnt up your clothes. I sure did. Put them in the barbecue grill. I put them on the barbecue grill. Real talk, y'all. Real talk.
Eric, how many
Yeah.
hours did it take you to burn my clothes down?
Man, I singed up my arms. All that stuff burned up your clothes, man. And and you know what? I felt so bad after I did it. I cried. I cried. And I felt so horrible after I did it. And I'm like, what am I doing? And so yes, it wasn't nothing cool. It was just going through pain. Going through pain.
So
So
what? Okay, because let's talk about the bitterness that we went through. Because, like I said, I share my bitterness. What made you bitter? Like, just speak from that place, that humble, transparent place. What made you so angry and bitter? Like, where did the chaos? Did you feel like did you feel like I was supposed to stay with you and continue to go through the madness that we were in?
of course, of course, yes. Yes, you were not supposed to leave me. Okay? No, you were not supposed to leave me. We were supposed to stay and we were supposed to make it work.
Although that it was crazy, we were supposed to stay together.
We were supposed to figure it out. I always say we're supposed to figure it out.
Okay.
Yes.
So as you all can see, there are people in the world that feels like no matter what chaos and discord and conflict and craziness and fighting and cheating and all of that stuff, they think you're still supposed to stay and figure it out. And that's why a lot of people are out here impressive on the outside, but oppressed behind closed doors because we are conditioned that no matter what you go through, you're supposed to stay in your marriage in which it's
Well, the
called.
thing, all right, let me interrupt you just a little bit. The thing
Okay.
is, we were not as transparent as we are now because I think we tell each other everything at this particular point in our lives. And if we would have been transparent, I'm just gonna be honest, my own self. If I had not been lying and doing all this kind of stuff, it would have been different, and we could have worked it out. But we weren't. I wasn't. I'm not gonna speak for you because I can only speak for myself. I wasn't as transparent and I wasn't honest. So if I would have been that way, I think it would have been different.
Okay. So, I mean, the reason why we're bringing all of this to you all's attention to let you know that we did go through a lot. Like, we went through a lot. If you can name it, we went through it. We went through the infidelity. We went through the fighting. We went through the betrayal. We went through what else? I mean, I just want to paint this picture for people to let them know what we went through, and that for me, it took me time to heal. It took me time to realize that I had to establish boundaries for myself, and so I went on the journey of self love. I went on the journey of putting myself first. I went on the journey of just getting to know Yolanda, in which that's how Transparent Table Talk was born. Because I was like, why people didn't have conversations about these things, why the older people didn't sit down and talk to young folks, and seeing young people go through things and not share from a humble, transparent, and a vulnerable place the outcome. Because we're not the first couple to have had an unsuccessful marriage. And the reality is, I look back now, we just didn't know. Like a lot of things I didn't know. And I can be honest, I didn't. I am, and I'm sure a lot of people can see that about me. I'm a very outspoken woman. I'm a very headstrong woman. A lot of people call me dominant. I'm not dominant. I just express myself. So I can even say that I I'm not one of those women, and I'm still trying to learn this. So let me be transparent. I don't know how to stroke a man ego. I don't know how to make a man like stroke their ego. I just can't. I can't put it no plainer than that. Like, can you elaborate on what I'm trying to say, Eric? That thing I didn't know how to do. I don't know how to make a man do that. I'm just gonna be honest.
Well, the thing is, it's understanding, and I guess I did need my ego stroked. All right, and I think a lot of men need their ego stroked, but it's not necessary because once you become into yourself, you know, it ain't
Well,
really about you. It ain't really about you. It ain't really about you. So to have your ego stroked, in which at a point in my life I cared about it, but I can care less about it now at this particular point in my life. You know, really. So, but yeah, there are a lot of men that I believe probably need their ego stroked. Need them like, hey, thank you. You know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. Probably so, yeah. But it really ain't about you. It really ain't about you. And that's what you got to get to the point. It ain't about you.
and then from that standpoint, like I said, my ex-husband had the ego of I'm the intelligent black man that make money, and that was a lot of our issues too because I make my money too, and I guess I don't know if the average woman depends on her husband or in the household if the man is the breadwinner, but we were equal. There was a topic that came up the other day on Facebook that they said women want to get married, but we be the first one want to go file for a divorce. And I responded to that particular topic because I was like, we filed for a divorce because we get fed up. It's one thing to be a man's wife, but if a man doesn't respect you, and you keep continuing to allow somebody to disrespect you, that's how you become dark. And I speak from that place because I did become dark. I became very dark. I became very bitter. I became very frustrated because I didn't want to be a single mother. I didn't want to be a single black mother, being that I did have my first two children at 17 years old. That was an insecurity of mine that I didn't want at the time that I first realized that I wanted a divorce. And that was like 10 years to 11 years before I actually divorced them. I didn't want to be a single mother. And I know that there are a lot of young women out there in which we are mothers and we have to take so much off of the men because we don't want to be a single mother. We don't want to be out here having to raise the children on our own. We don't want to be that black single mother that now we have to go out here and try to date. And these guys feel like in society condition us like we're less than when we're single mothers. And like even when Eric and I got together, and I don't know if you want to speak on this, Eric, but I had two children and Eric didn't have children, and people was like, man, you gonna marry her, she got two kids. And it's like that's how women are treated out here. It's like because we have children, when the society try to treat us like we're less than, but a man could be out here and have children by different ladies and all of that, and he can go get a woman that ain't got no kids, and she'll go take care of all his kids. You know what I'm saying? So, as women, I just want to let you all know, no matter how many kids you have, how many children you have, you still deserve to be loved. You still deserve to be treated correctly. What you say about that, Eric?
Okay, all right. Let me comment on this. You know what? And we're just being so transparent and so honest right now. I did feel a certain way when you and I got together because Tino and Terrio were probably what 10 and 8, 10 or something like that, something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt a certain way. I'm like, hey, I am coming in here and making sure that your children okay, and then Big Tino with his situation, whatever. And I'm like, hey, I'm taking care of everybody. So I did feel a certain way. I felt a certain way. I ain't gonna lie, and I felt entitled, and I felt like, hey, you know what? You need to get somewhere and sit down and do what I say. I did feel that way. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. Basically, was that the fact I'm marrying you, I'm being with you, and you have two children, you need to be grateful. Pretty much was your mindset, and that was your attitude
That's how I
during
was
the
thinking.
time we were married. And so, because he felt like I had two children, that I should have been grateful that I was able to marry a black educated man making some money. So that's pretty much. So Anyway, so we went through all of that, and we ended up divorced, and we went through the whole bittering stage, and he went through the say hello. We went through the stage of being mad at each other. He was mad at me because I divorced him, right?
Yeah, and took everything. It took everything.
Okay, he want to say I took everything. Let's talk about that. Like I said, if y'all remember, I went filed for a divorce and everything. I'm like, y'all, let's split it 50-50. All I want is divorce and I want out. Let's split the kids 50-50. Let's sell the house, split the equity 50-50. Let's split the furniture 50-50. So we doing a recap. He went filed for a divorce. He went filed for a contested divorce. Correct me if I'm wrong. In his mind, that was the way to keep us together by going for file for a contested divorce and file sole custody of the kids. So of course, when he went filed for a contested divorce and went filed for sole custody of the kids, it was on. It was on and popping. If anybody know Yolanda, baby, you don't want to go to war with Yolanda. I'm telling you. So as a result, the judge said I got to keep on living the way I'm accustomed to.
She got to keep on living the way she, what Marvin say, way she accustomed to it.
Yeah. So he
Oh
shot himself in
Lord.
the foot when he went filed that divorce. Since he said I took everything, he gave me everything because he went filed for a divorce, for a contested divorce, and didn't show up to court. So the judge said, "What you want?" Pretty much.
Oh wait. Is that
So
enough? I need a smoke. This is a joke.
So anyway, after we divorced, we were bitter for a while, back and forth with each other because the way I do things, he has had to adjust and become accustomed to things, the way Yolanda do things, and I've had to accept him for who he is and the way he does things, and we had to take some time away from each other. I know I did. I had to take some time. And he was like, Yolanda, you still mad at me? No, I ain't still mad at you. I'm just loving on me. And so this past, what has it been, a month or so? Started back talking to him. I started back talking
Well,
to him. Y'all, this past
well, we
weekend.
probably started back talking again. Like November or something like that.
Right,
Probably like November.
right. Because I had to hear from the man, like I told him.
But we really never stopped. We stopped talking to each other for a spell because we never, like you said, we got divorced on like a Monday or a Tuesday, and we was in the bed together like the next day or some crazy stuff like that. So we
I'm talking
never
about
really.
the past year when I cut off communication from you.
You cut off communication with me probably like January,
Right.
and we didn't talk this past last January. Last January.
2022 is when I
Yeah,
totally cut out. Well,
yeah.
the beginning of 2021, I stopped having sex with you. Then
Yeah.
2022, I
And,
cut you
and,
out.
and you got your another boyfriend too. Remember? So that hey, you gotta talk. You gotta be honest now. You know
I
that's
got another
factoring into.
boyfriend.
You did. You know you did. Come on
I ain't
now.
got
We
no
being
boyfriend.
real. We being real now. We being real.
You saying now?
No, I'm saying back in that January period too.
I ain't had no
Anyway,
boyfriend.
okay, well, all right then. Well, cool.
I ain't had no boyfriend. For real.
All right, well, cool.
Oh, for real. So I have a question. He said, did you ever get to a point where you said, hey, let me reach out to him and see if he's okay? Who, reaching out to Eric? Tracy, you mean reaching out to Eric? But I knew he was okay because we got kids together. So anyway, you all, we went through this phase. We went through this ugly phase. I didn't like him. He didn't like me. We fussed, cussed, blamed
All
each
of it.
other, all of that. Chaos, discord, conflict, irritation, aggravation, frustration. And so this past, I started talking to him again in November. I started talking to him, I know, for like 10, 11 months.
From about Jane. Well, we would talk, but we were pretty much fussing. If we did talk, we fuss talk from like January to like November of this past of 2022. Yeah, we talked in between there. Of course, we talked in between there, but we was just not cordial. We were not cordial.
So it brings us to this point now. We've shared the bitterness. We went through it. It was ugly. It was full of chaos and discord or whatever. And now we are just friends. Like we friends. Like I told him, and I'm being straight up with him. I told him, I said, no, baby, I ain't trying to sleep with you no more because it's like kryptonite. You know when somebody know what they doing to you, and they know how to do it and where to do it. And how, no, 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 hell no.
Yeah, she said I'm kryptonite. Yeah.
No.
Anyway,
Hey,
anyway.
yeah. He, y'all, you know, ladies, sometimes you got to know when to let it go. You got to know when to let it go. You got to know to take your power back because that ding-a-ling, I'm just gonna say it like that. When somebody know what they doing, and you sitting up talking about you mad and angry, you can't change nobody. The only person you can change is yourself. And I talk to y'all real. I have conversations with ladies that I wish somebody would have had with me and young girls. If you're out here talking about he taking me through that, now, baby, you like that orgasm and keep it real. Because if the only thing he's doing is making you feel good in the bed and that's the only time you happy, you need to look in the mirror and check yourself. I'm just gonna keep it real. Y'all know I keep it real, right? Just talking to y'all from a humble, transparent, and a vulnerable place. Telling y'all my truth to hopefully try to help somebody. And I say it one more time. If you in a relationship and the only time that you feel good with your man and your mind clear and you at peace and you feel like he love you and you thrilled all up is when you in the bed. You need to take another look at yourself in the mirror. Because it's not just supposed to be when you in the bed. He's supposed to respect you. He's supposed to honor you. He's supposed to protect you. And so, ladies, I'm just sharing this with you all because I did go through this. And a lot of times it's not that it's intentional. It's not that it's about you. And I had to realize a lot of the stuff that my ex-husband was doing, it wasn't about me. It was his own issues. And it took me a long time to realize that. And that's the reason why I can sit down and talk to him now. That's the reason why I can deal with him. We can sit down and we can eat because I understand that the things he was doing was not to hurt me. It was actually dealing with what he had going on. And the reality is there are a lot of men out here that's hurt. You know, we look at society and we think that it's just that it's all women that's hurt. You know, women done got molested, women done got abused, and they look at it's just that all women hurt. But I'm gonna tell you, it's some hurt men out here. Would you like to add or just generally speak on that?
Well, I mean, I just think that people in generally do what they want to do. It's like, I always use the analogy of somebody stepping on your shoe in the club, and the person who gets their shoe stepped on, they take it real personal, like, hey man, you tried to step on my shoe, and all hell breaks off. They didn't try to step on your shoe. It just they was just doing what they were doing. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is with that analogy and how I'm trying to say is that it don't be about the woman that when a man do thing, it just be doing what he want to do. You know what I mean? But in retrospect, a man should be like, I shouldn't do this to my wife, but it be like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And like you indicated earlier, I think in this particular show, that once this is done, the spouse becomes bitter, and that bitterness builds up, and it's like, hey, now all y'all doing is fussing at each other, and you know what I mean, and lies being told, and all that kind of stuff is going on. So that's all I got to add on that.
And what you saying, ladies, and men, you know, a lot of guys go out and they hurt their women, and then the woman becomes bitter. She becomes angry. She's living in an angry environment, and then she has to come out in the world with a mask on, like she's happy. And that energy that she's truly dealing with is coming off in all of her environment. I mean, all of her relationships, and she's spreading it throughout the environment in which she's just really hurt and having to mask it. So we just wanted to share with you all, you know, what we went through, so we can let you all know that there is life after a chaotic marriage. If you actually were friends before you got into a relationship, and Eric and I we were friends for what, like 2 years. We were friends for 2 years. You know, I don't know if y'all see Eric. He a cool dude to talk to. He one of them dudes that can have a good conversation. He kind of like a girl. And
What? Okay.
you know, all guys can't hold a conversation. Like a lot of guys can't talk about history, can't talk about politics, can't talk about, you know, just life in general. They can't hold a conversation. And I'm trying to see. Look like I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm not sure if this live is going to end. She said her internet dropped. My host is telling me something is wrong with the internet, but I'm not sure if I'm okay with the internet. It looks like our live is continuing. But I'm just saying that, you know, we don't want to become bitter. We don't want to stay in that bitter place, because bitterness is not good for us. It's not good for us. It's not good for our spirit. It's not good for our heart. So we moving forward, and we are excited to rebuild our life as a blended family after a nasty divorce. So Eric, you say you wanted to talk about this weekend in which we spent
Yes.
all of our children. Y'all, I'm so
Yes.
excited because I was able to sit and have dinner with both of my children's father, all my children, my grandchildren, and it's an honor. It's an honor to be able to feed everybody. Like, I was able to cook and feed everybody. Eric and I cooked, but it was an honor to do that. It was an honor to come together and for us to sit down. And it's like, society think we supposed to be bitter. So I'm gonna let Eric go ahead, because he's so excited about talking about this past weekend.
So, all right, being that we ain't talking about all the bad times, this weekend was beautiful. I came from, y'all, I live in Houston. And so I came down and was just, oh man, we had a great time. I think Yolanda, I don't know where she posted the pictures. I don't know if she posted them on Bougiewild or Yolanda. I don't know. Check out the pictures. Man, we put together a feast. We grilled what? Lamb chops, lobster tails, dang, what did we not
Shrimp,
cook? Shrimp,
mushrooms,
mushrooms,
wrap.
broccoli and cheese. Oh my goodness, we had a spread. We had a spread. And as Yolanda indicated, Tito Sr., her other daddy's father, we cool as a fan. You know what I mean? We were all there. Check out the pictures. It's wonderful. It's love. It's straight up love. And we sat around and we drank a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. We did the Family Feud. How many dollars? We won $60,000 in the Family
60,000.
Feud. And the grandbabies, they was just beautiful, y'all. It was beautiful. So to talk about what we talked about earlier and to have this type of weekend, I mean, it was wonderful. It's wonderful. And just it was a weekend of the ages. It really was.
It was, you guys. I mean, we were able to come together, and we just told everybody, y'all, let's come together and eat. And the reason why we're bringing this to you all's attention, because like I told Eric, bring your girlfriend over. I told Tino, bring your girlfriend over. We can be a blended family. We are changing how society thinks that divorced couples are supposed to be. It's okay that we come together because we still a family. Like we all held the new baby that
Yeah.
was
And we
born.
had a new baby. And we had a new baby that came in what about a week ago?
Yes, January
About a
the
week ago.
13th, we got a new addition to our family. Her name is Marley Johnson. So we have a new addition to our family. And we had all of our children together, all of our grandchildren. We were able to sit around and eat good food. We laughed, we joked. And like this is what our family is. It's our blended family. And society don't allow the social norm to stop you from creating the family you want, because I'm sure a lot of people, oh my gosh, she got both of her baby daddies over there, that's crazy. No, we talk about, like I tell Eric, Eric will tell you, bring your girlfriend, she invited, whoever she is, she invited. This is our new family. We tell people that we date, and that's why a lot of people look at us like we crazy. We tell people we date like we're not bitter with each other. Like that's my children's father, and that's both of my children's father know I will be there for them. They know I will be there for them, and they will be there for me. And that's just what it is, because we have children and we have grandchildren, and we're gonna know each other forever. So we're building our family to show our children. Like our son was even saying, like, they'll always be there for their baby mamas, regardless of them staying together or not. They are the mother of your child. We are family. If the mother is not okay, the children's not going to be okay. So we on the move of blending our family. Eric's still trying to date me, but I told him he need to get him a girlfriend.
Okay, all
He
right.
get him a
Anyway,
girlfriend.
back to your point. Anyway,
Look,
what we're
let me
trying
tell
to
y'all this. Let me
say.
make a public service announcement. Hello, everyone. To all the ladies out there that's having any type of relationship with Eric Crump, I'm letting you know it's okay. You don't have to worry about Bougiewild, Yolanda, or any of the above. Yes, we're going to be friends. Yes, we're going to be family. And you can come on along and be a family with us and be a blended family, because Eric Crump is available.
Lord have mercy. That's all I can
I
say behind
don't
all
want
that. Lord have mercy. But anyway, I
a
think what our
public
message
service
is,
announcement.
what our message is to let everybody know, hey, um, to be cool, like Yolanda indicated. Um, she is the mother of my children, and she's the mother of my children. And you gotta always be there. I was looking at this podcast, talking about, it was Shaquille O'Neal actually over the last couple weeks or something like that. And he talked about being rich. And him being rich was being able to provide and take care of his family. He said the rest of that stuff, he said all the millions of dollars I made, he said that ain't nothing. He said taking care of my family is what it's about. Taking care of my kids, taking care of my mom, taking care of my family is what it's about. So in other words, that's what Yolanda and I are trying to say. Hey, that's what it's all about. And you can go through craziness, and we ain't gone through it. God knows we ain't gone through it. Well, here we are. So
And let
that's
me
my.
just you guys, because don't allow your social norm to destroy your family. That's what happened with me and Eric. Like that. And I'm not just saying from Eric's standpoint, I'm talking about me too. Because I was raised by a single mother. So I only thing I saw was my mama talk crazy to her men and let them know this and let them know that. And I can admit, like I don't know how to stroke a man's ego. And that's something that I'm realizing that a woman has to give a man. That's some man looking for, like for real. Even realizing that and watching raising my young men that I have as children is that men do look for that woman to be peace. They look for that woman to make them feel safe, to make them feel like they are the king of the world. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do that. I didn't know how to do that. Like, I was the type of female who felt like you should know how to be a man. You need to know this and you need to know that. And because I've always been strong-willed and I was a tomboy, y'all don't know what a tomboy means. Like, I have a masculine side. Um, I felt that he was supposed to be a certain way, a certain type of man. And the reality is, all men are not alike. Like, so, just like I'm sure I got more of, I mean, I'm a lady, but I can be masculine too. Um, there are men out there the same way, just for real. All men ain't alike. They they're not. Um, so we just have to learn as women how we need to love our man. That's something that in a relationship, I think that goes both ways, is that the couple need to listen to the other one on how do I love you? What do you need from me? Because I don't think that was anything that we talked about before we got married. Do you remember us having that conversation?
Nah, I don't ever remember having that conversation. It's just like stuff happened so fast, and we just started having kids, and it was just on. It was just like, no, I don't remember having that conversation. No, I don't. I don't. And like you just indicated, that is something that's very important for people to talk about. But nah, it's just we just went straight into family life. It just taking care of kids and family life. It was on.
So you guys, on today, we are coming to you from a humble, transparent, and vulnerable place, sharing our life experience, hoping to encourage, uplift, motivate, inspire someone through our own life testimony that there is goodness, happiness after chaos. Like, it's a choice. Like I tell y'all, it's a choice. And the reality is, a lot of us are bitter because we never loved ourselves. We never learned how to take care of ourselves to make sure that we were okay. Because when you love yourself, you establish boundaries. When you love yourself, you don't go through darkness for years after years and days after days. You establish boundaries and you can walk away and you can say no. And like I told Eric, I've established a boundary. We can be friends, we can hang out, but we can't cross that line anymore because I love myself now. And I know if I cross that line, how it's going to leave me feeling. And it's not about, like I told him, it's not that, hey, I know what you know I can do. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact of me loving myself. Like, no, Yolanda, you owe to yourself to not allow yourself to go that place anymore. What would you like to say, Eric?
Well, I mean, like I say, all about it's all about respecting each other and being friends and being friends first again to do everything. Just respecting each other and knowing each other and being there for each other. What you do sexually is whatever, whatever, whatever. But it's really with a person, it's just being friends again. And I can say, um, since November, um, we've gotten to a point to where, hey, we actually started being friends again. And we stopped being friends while we was married, if that makes any sense. We stopped being friends while we was married.
So you guys, as this episode, we sharing with you how to rebuild after a nasty divorce. and that is having a healthy relationship. Make sure your relationship is healthy. Make sure that the relationship that you have with that person that's healthy starts with self. Starts with self. So thank you all again for tuning in for another episode, Transparent Table Talk. You all know we air on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you go check out bougiewild.com. Make sure you follow Bougiewild on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Bougiewild is a registered trademark. Bougiewild is looking for sponsors. So if you want your business to be featured on Transparent Table Talk, reach out. I will be putting out different packages. Sponsorship will be greatly appreciated. You guys, the next show, I am looking for a panel of people that's willing to talk. I'm looking for a panel. I can put up to 10 people on this stream. And I'm looking for some grown folks that's really ready to have a conversation about life from a humble, transparent, and vulnerable place. So you guys tune in Thursday, because I will have people on this platform that's going to be talking about life from a humble, transparent, and vulnerable place. And you say, how do you start that conversation? Let's talk about the conditioning. Let's really have the conversation about the conditioning. If you're willing to be a guest on Transparent Table Talk, make sure you inbox me, because this is going to be a great conversation on this awesome platform. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. This is your girl Bougiewild, and I'm out.
Thank y'all.
Bougiewild, 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 Bougiewild. I said the universe gave it to me. I said the universe gave it to me. Bougiewild, 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 Bougiewild. I said the universe gave it to me. I said the universe gave it to me. Bougiewild can't be boxed. I'm free to be me. I'm living life, creating legacy. I'm living my dream. They call me extra. They say I'm doing too much. I'm just bougie wild. Cause I'm bougie wild, bougie wild, bougie wild, bougie wild, bougie wild, bougie wild, bougie wild.